Guess we can rest a bit.
Want to grab a copy of the Steambird? We know our Fontanian friends love... isn't that Charlotte? And standing next to her, surely that can't be... Kaniche?
How about... Lost treasure reserved... Pretty shocking. But Udex gravely wounded in shocking stabbing. Set to miss cross-border smuggling trial.
Huh? Did Paimon hear that right? Neuvillette was... No, surely that can't be right. Can it?
Hey there, you two. Fancy running into you here.
Yeah, that! And also, a less than pleasant shot! What the heck was all that about a Saurian meat restaurant and the trading...
Yeah. Charlotte and I were having a little contest to see who could find the most ridiculous fake news stories. Either I got lucky, or I have a knack for honing in on the most outrageous. If I had to quantify it, I'd say about 1% of what they write is the truth.
Huh? Him? Lenient? Oh, you gotta be kidding! Ah!
Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to give credit to these so-called news stories for occasionally including a...
You mean all those fake headlines you mentioned?
Sure they do. For instance, there wasn't, considering the amount of speculation surrounding the smuggled goods. It's no wonder there are rumors about restaurants serving saurian meat or teak, but in reality, the goods in question were simply a few ancient relics dug up from ruins in Natlan. Rest assured, no saurians were harmed in the process.
So busy freaking out about those headlines that she totally forgot to ask why you're here in Fontaine, Kaniche.
It was a pretty open and shut case, and my testimony in court was clear enough. But I'm guessing, Mademoiselle Charlotte, that you're less interested in the case than you are in trying to uncover some news stories about I appreciate your kind invitation, but like I said, storytelling isn't real.
Kaniche the speechless! Kaniche the tongue-tied! Huh?
If you're dead set on doing an interview, why not talk to the Traveler instead?
Charlotte never stops, does she? Anyway, Paimon just has to ask. That how thing that popped out before, or was it a how?
Oh, that thing. Yeah, that was a how.
Huh? What's up with him? Like, he's still noisy, but he's way quieter than before.
Could be.
Not acclimatizing? Aw, poor almighty dragon.
Too bad he can't come out to argue back.
What do you mean?
There's nothing physically wrong with him. Apparently, it's forbidden to release flying objects within Fontaine City limits during the first 3 days of each month.
Paimon sure does. Paimon's been down this road before. There's an easy solution. As long as Kaniche holds onto a house tail, he'll be considered an almighty Dragon Lord balloon, not a flying almighty Dragon Lord.
Not gonna lie, I was considering that. But a how wasn't too thrilled with the idea of huffing and puffing away in the form of a mini helium balloon. That said, it's pretty annoying how he keeps randomly popping up all of a sudden. Anyway, this morning I saw a notice outside the Palais Mermonia about an event that's set to take place outside the city soon. Something to do with filmmaking. I hear that's all the rage here. I was planning to stay here and do some exploring for a few extra days anyway, so I think I'll go check it out. It'll be a good chance to let that noisy helium balloon out. He might even learn a thing or two. If you're free, why don't you come along? I know where it is, so let me lead the way. Looks like I remembered correctly. Here we are.
Wow, this is awesome!
Yeah, it was still completely deserted only a few days ago. There must be some efficient workers in Fontaine. Quite impressive.
A few days? One night was all it took. Rap-a-tap-tap, ta-da! But is this all it takes to blow people away? Oh, no. Given my past experience, I can't let myself get carried away. Well, I can't believe you actually remember me. It's me, Lepine Pauline. That's right, the unlucky one. Of course! How else would we have managed to build Fantasyland in a single night?
Fantasyland?
At least that's how I like to think of it myself. A magical land of fantasy, the stuff of film buffs' dreams. I know it sounds like I'm laying it on thick, but that really is the goal here. As you can see, the theme of this amusement park is Fontainian filmmaking, a place for
Co-construct? Well, that's a relief. Sounds like you're sharing the cost this time rather than pouring your entire life savings into a single project.
Nope! I might be inviting others to help fund this, but that doesn't mean I haven't thrown all my life savings into it too!
Huh? You've got to be kidding. Ha! Look at you, puny little humans. Recklessly betting your entire future against some stupid vanity project. If you're expecting even an ounce of sympathy from the almighty Dragon Lord, dream on! Mockery is all you shall get! Straight...
Sorry, just ignore that little gizmoid. He likes to butt in occasionally. Do go on.
Gizmoid? Who you calling Gizmoid? You're...
Wow! That's quite a nifty mecha you've got yourself there. Is it some sort of smart personal assistant? You ought to let Miss Charlotte see your cool gadget. Who knows? Maybe you could even look into mass production.
Mass production? Ugh, insolent, vulgar, and disrespectful! I, the almighty Dragon Lord, am one of a kind! There has never been another like me, nor will there ever be! And another thing, smart is the understatement of the century! I shall have you know that I am Kahula-How, forebear of ancient wisdom!
What? Heavens above! I beg your pardon, forebear of ancient...
Idiot meets idiot.
What's all the fuss? Making some new friends, are we?
Miss Navia! Allow me to introduce the star behind all the work that's gone into this venue. Miss Navia, President of Fontaine Spina di Rosula.
Everyone! Partner, Paimon, how have you been lately?
Hello there. I'm Kanich.
What about me? What about me? My useless servant can't even give me a proper introduction!
You think someone yelling their name out in the middle of a public street really needs an introduction?
He's not wrong. I caught yours just now, in fact. So, you must be the almighty Dragon Lord, Mr. How. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, see that? That's what I call proper manners! Well, it's not every day you meet a well-mannered human. Navia, was it? Excellent. You may address the almighty Dragon Lord by his name. Navia, don't you think the title Almighty Dragon Lord is a bit silly?
It's no big deal. All little animals do that, don't they? I mean, try to puff themselves up to look more impressive.
Anyway, it's all thanks to Miss Navia and the Spina di Rosula that Fantasyland's gotten up and running in the space of a single... honestly, thank heavens! After all that paperwork and endless waiting, the event and venue finally got the green light! I couldn't wait a moment longer. The second the approval came through, I reached out to President Navia hoping she could lend a hand. After all, who else but the Spina di Rosula would indulge such impulsive demands?
Sorry, traveler. Miss Lapine Pauline sometimes gets a bit overwhelmed by her own excitement. I'm guessing she hasn't gone into much detail about the event yet. In short, the Cheval Film Fantasyland is a fan convention that's open to film enthusiasts from all over Teyvat. Miss Lapine Pauline is hosting this event and also providing technical support.
Huh? Cheval Moran?
That's right! The one and only Surintendant Cheval Moran! After much persistence and many solicitations, I finally obtained Lady Farina's permission to use the image of her close friend. Not only is our adorable mascot drawing in fans by the minute, but she's also boosting her own popularity. And that was always the goal. A win-win arrangement.
It's been a while since we last met, but still, it's a surprise to hear Lapine Pauline coming out with such sensible ideas. By the way, Miss Lapine Pauline, have you decided to switch careers and go into film tech?
Not exactly. By chance, one of the prototype lenses I developed caught a photographer's eye, and it's now being used for the latest cinematic productions. Thanks to this unexpected opportunity, I've had the chance to invent various film-related equipment and props.
That's right. So don't underestimate Miss Lapine Pauline, our resident engineer. She's the technical powerhouse at the core of this entire event. As for the Spina di Rosula, we're mainly here to take care of planning, operations, and management. For anyone feeling inspired to set up a booth, Miss Lapine Pauline and I will provide the necessary technical and operational support once their application has been approved. By the way, traveler, are you at all interested in It would be a chance for you to earn some extra income. Plus, with your skills, I'm sure you could bring something special to the table.
Paimon would be even more tempting.
Well, everyone needs to eat, So thanks to Miss Navia's help, we've managed to invite none other than the select... Look over there!
You! Yes, you! For the last time, the ingredients have to be in the right ratio! Get it right next time, or you might as well just lie down on the chopping board yourself.
She seems a bit busy right now.
Well, I'm sold. I think I'll make a How go be her assistant.
You little... What's your game here?
Demoiselle, sorry to bother you, but there's an issue over here that requires your personal attention.
Apologies. Looks like it's back to work with me. Please feel free to take a gander at what we've got. Anyway, if you're interested in taking part...
Greetings. Apologies if you overheard my harsh words just now, but I assure you, the sheer lack of standards here will be the death of me. Do you have any idea of the kind of customers I'm gonna get with how lax things are? The ones that leave their guns behind by accident and then come back to collect them later, bringing ammunition with them.
Yeah, that's the kind of customer you wouldn't forget in a hurry.
Oh.
Wait, has that happened before?
No, it's just the mention of guns reminded me. Someone did actually leave their gun nearby.
Huh?
Just before we started setting up, as we were cleaning up the site, someone stumbled upon a mysterious locked box. It didn't look like something from Fontaine, though. It had more of a Natlanese vibe.
Oh?
Do you think a foreign tourist might have left it behind?
That's what I assumed at first. But the box was buried beneath, but I didn't see much point in speculating, so the best thing I could think of was to hand it over to the authorities. I trekked all the way over to the Palais Mermonia just to hand it in.
What did the authorities make of it?
Oh, they made a mountain out of a molehill, as usual. Before even addressing the question of what was actually inside the box, they had several heated discussions about whose responsibility it was to write the lost and found notice. Thankfully, the ever-reliable Officer Sedine stepped up and immediately called in the Mart, and, as it turned out, there was a gun.
Wow, that's a dangerous item, all right.
Mind if I ask what kind of gun it was?
Oh yeah, Mr. Kanich, you're from Natlan, aren't you? Do you know a lot about guns?
You could say it comes with the job. I have an interest in weaponry and the like.
Ugh, such a spoiled brat. What, are the toys I gave you not good enough for you anymore?
Yep, got sick of those long ago.
You little... How dare you turn your nose up at my gifts! Why
Time for a timeout, old-timer. Sorry, where were we? Oh yeah, do you recall what the gun looked like?
It's a bit hard to describe. If you ask me, it didn't even really look like a gun. Give me a second. I'll knock out a quick sketch. Something like this.
Whoa, it's so neat and precise!
It's nothing. Sorry. Is something wrong with my drawing? I know it doesn't really look like a gun, but I assure you, this is exactly what it looked like. And it certainly could shoot as well, too. I confirmed that with the officer from the Marechaussee Phantom.
No, quite the opposite. The features are very accurate, and it is definitely from Natlan. Please, don't mind me. I'm just taking a moment to admire it.
I should be the one thanking you. Thank you, and everyone else for your support.
Don't mention it. Besides, we haven't really done anything.
Not at all! The buzz and excitement you guys bring is exactly what this event needs! Oh dear, I'm starting to feel a bit guilty watching everyone else toil away. Guess it's about time I got back to work too. But Just before I go, one last thing. Traveler, it's wonderful to see you. Here's to a successful collaboration!
I'm sure you noticed that there was something unusual about that gun. Correct. It's most likely an old weapon dug up from some ancient dragon ruins. Based on my experience, it might be more accurate to refer to it as a hand cannon, but in Fontaine terms, it's not wrong to call it a gun. Given why I came here, don't you think it's curious that an ancient dragon relic of unknown origin would turn up like this, out of the blue? I suspect this gun might have something to do with that smuggling case. It might have slipped through the cracks. Time is of the essence, so I'd like to head over to the Palais Mermonia to verify my suspicions. Perfect. Then we can... Or, if you want to catch up with your friends first, I can wait.
You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? Guess we can rest a bit. You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. Guess we can rest a bit. You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? Guess we can rest a bit. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? Guess we can rest a bit. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? Guess we can rest a bit. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. Guess we can rest a bit. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? You should really bring the Knights of Favonius with you next time. I still have a lot to do at the guild. How about you take a rest while I go back? Guess we can rest a bit.